We finished a session where we played around the drum set and we used 2 notes on each drum. Now this is a different day and I'm starting a different session. This session starts with 3 notes around the drum set. What I mean by that is 3 notes on each drum. In the first example, which is on page 15, number 54, I'm going to play 3 notes on the snare drum, 3 notes on the small tom, 3 notes on the 4-tom before I play the bass drum. So this will be an exercise that will be actually 10 notes, 9 notes on the drums and then a bass drum, and that keeps repeating. So this is again page 15, number 54. 4 measures of rhythm. Let's turn the page. Now I'm on page 17. Page 17, this is number 66. And this exercise, I'll just play 3 notes on each drum and then immediately a bass drum. So it'll be 3 notes on the snare drum and the bass drum, etc., etc. on the other 2 drums. Okay, now page 17, number 66. I'm going to continue now, skipping up to page 19. This is exercise number 78. Now I'm working on 4 notes on each drum. This exercise then will be very much like the one I just finished, where I'll be playing the notes, 4 notes on each drum, immediately followed by a bass drum. Again, page 19, number 78. I'm going to go to page 20. Pardon me. Page 20, number 84. This has the same rhythm as the exercise I just played, except that the 4 notes now are spread around the drum set. So I call this patterns around the drum set. And it starts with the right hand, plays the snare drum, the mounted tom, the floor tom, comes back to the snare drum before I play the bass drum. So it would be a 5-note pattern. Again, page 20, number 84. The next one is on page 21. It's number 90. In this exercise, what I do is I play around the drum set, but sometimes I lead with the right hand, sometimes I lead with the left hand. I'm starting on the snare drum for part of the patterns, but I'm also starting on the small tom for some of the patterns. So this is page 21, number 90. exercise is page 22, number 93. Now, in this pattern, I'm playing 3 notes before I play the bass drum. The first exercise, the one I'm playing now, number 93, is clockwise around the drum set, starting on the snare drum. And I will play a 2-measure phrase on this. It's a 1-measure exercise, so I'll play it twice. So I'll play 2 measures of rhythm before I play that exercise. Number 96A has a pattern where I'm going in the opposite direction. In this case, it's actually a 3-note pattern starting with the snare drum, starting with the left hand. But the exercise itself starts on the last 2 notes of that pattern. So the first note is a floor tom, but the pattern itself would be that, a left, a right, a left, and the bass drum. Like I said, I'm starting on the last 2 notes of that pattern. So I will end up with a single left hand on the snare drum when I go back to the ride cymbal. Again, I'll play it in a 2-measure phrase. Number 99 has the original pattern, but it goes clockwise and then counterclockwise. So it goes right, left, right starting on the snare drum, and right, left, right starting on the floor tom. This is number 99. One more in this series, and that's, number 99A. This is also back and forth, but I'm starting on the last note of the 3-note pattern. So it'll be just 1 note before I play the bass drum, and then from then on it'll be the 3-note pattern followed by the bass drum. Actually, I suppose we should call it a 4-note pattern. It's 3 notes and a bass drum. 99A. and this is exercise number 113. It's just 2 notes before I play a bass drum, and it's both in a clockwise direction and a counterclockwise direction, both starting with the right hand and with the left hand. So again, page 26, number 113. On page 27, number 117, there's just a single note followed by a bass drum. Now actually, this exercise can be and probably should be broken down into 2 exercises. The first 2 measures has the hand on the stick on the beat and the bass drum off the beat. The last 2 measures reverses that and puts the stick on the off beat and the bass drum on the beat. So let's make 2 exercises out of it. I'll play the first 2 measures with the bass drum on the off beat. Now let's look at the last 2 measures. I'm going to put a bass drum on every beat, along with the hi-hat. So my bass drum will be playing when I play the heel of my left foot, which is the way I'm playing the hi-hat right now, with that lefty motion that we've talked about. When the heel goes down, I'll play the bass drum. When the heel goes down, I'll play the bass drum. So this will be just a steady beat with the feet. And then the hands will play the offbeats. So here are the last 2 measures of number 117. Now that gives you a pretty good idea of what we can do with 1/8 notes combined with the bass drum. Once you've accomplished these, why, you can take a variety of these ideas and just fool around with them or improvise with them. As an example, I might just take the exercise we just completed, which is add it to the exercise on page 26, which is 113. And then go back a ways and you can find this exercise. And then even maybe, those are some that we've already practiced. But I'll just put them together, improvising, using those ideas. So I'll start with a Marv. I'll play a little faster. And even faster. Faster than that. So you see what we can do once we master these particular exercises, fool around with them, just put them together. Another idea would be to take just one exercise and try to play it at different speeds.
Respect.
In this session, we're going to do some triplets around the drum set. And again, it will both be a clockwise direction and a counterclockwise direction. If one hand moves, like if my right hand is moving, I will just move it in a clockwise fashion. If the left hand is moving, I'll actually play off the floor tom. Let the left hand move counterclockwise. That's what I'll be doing for the first few exercises. Now we go back to page 7, and I'll play number 3. In this case, I'm accenting the right hand, and the right hand is going clockwise around the drum set. The rhythm of the right hand actually is what we call a quarter note triplet. And I think, first of all, I'll play that. I'll play 4-beat bass drum, hi-hat on 2 and 4, and play the rhythm, just the rhythm of the right hand. Now you can see when I play that right hand, it's going all the way up to the high position, and it's playing an arc that never stops. We call that continuous motion. So this is continuous motion with the right hand. Exercise on the snare drum, I would play the left hand very soft, just a few inches off the drum. So I'll play the left hand low and the right hand all the way up to the high position. And concentrate on the rhythm of the right hand. Try to make a nice, smooth, even quarter note triplet. If you keep it in constant motion, you'll have a better chance of making it very even, rather than stopping it and playing it again. So you keep it in constant motion. Now the left hand stays very low. So I'll play number 3, but I'll first of all do it on the snare drum. Now I'll play it around the drum set the way it's written in the book. Number 4 actually has the same motion around the set. The difference is that the left hand starts the exercise, and the right hand, although it's playing a quarter note triplet, is now playing what I call an offbeat quarter note triplet. It's a quarter note triplet where the accent matches the second and the fourth beat of the measure. So it sounds like this. I'll play it right hand alone. This is what I call an offbeat quarter note triplet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I count that, you'll notice that the right hand is is on the second note of the first triplet, and And then on the second beat, it will be on the first and third note of the triplet. And that repeats on the third and fourth beat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So again, we have to concentrate on the rhythm of the right hand. Now I'll play that around the set. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's go back and play those two exercises again, this time putting 2 measures of rhythm between the exercise. So the exercise will be repeated, so I'll get 2 measures of the exercise. Number 3. Exercise number 4. The last note of this exercise is the right hand. So what I've elected to do is play the left hand cymbal on the downbeat of the rhythm portion of this exercise. So when I come out of it, I will hit the left-hand cymbal on the downbeat before I go to the right cymbal. Here's number 4 again. Number 9 is left hand. Left hand going around in a counterclockwise motion. So here's number 9. Again, what I'm attempting to do on it is keep the left hand going in constant motion. And if I were to play that exercise on the snare drum, you would notice my left hand comes all the way back to the high position, or even maybe beyond the high position, so I can keep it in constant motion. Exercise like that with one hand doing all the accents. We try to keep in constant motion, of course, but we also try not to pound. When we're playing an accent, we can play it, just from its natural volume by allowing it to be dictated by how high we move the stick. Accent from a high position without making it terribly loud. Contrary to that, if you stop the motion, you might have a tendency to start pounding, and then it'll sound like this. And pounding kind of into the drum. So keep it moving, but try not to play any louder than the normal volume of the stick itself. Okay, let's go on to page 9 and talk about playing the bass drum. Now the bass drum, when we play triplets, actually then has 3 different places to be played, and that would be the first note of the triplet, the second note of the triplet, or the third note of the triplet. Exercise 23, this is exercise 23. on page 9. Maybe I said 22, but I meant to say number 23 on page 9, does this. It has a bass drum right on one, then a bass drum on the second note of the triplet, then the bass drum on the third note of the triplet. When I break up a triplet, I count it one tate, 2 tate, 3 tate, 4 tate. So 1 would be on the beat, ta would be the second note of the triplet, te would be the third note of the triplet. So in the first measure, I'll play just the first measure. I've got a bass drum right on 1, ta, tate, 2, ta, tate, 3, ta, tate. So it's on 1, and then the ta of 2, and then the te of 4. A lot of times when I play the te of a triplet, I think of it in connection with the following beat. In other words, I will say to myself, when I'm on the beat, like number 1, it's right with my foot. When I'm on the ta, it's right after my foot. But when I'm on the te, it's just before my foot. So it's with the foot, after the foot, before the foot. 1, 2 ta, te, 3 ta, te, 4. Now I'll play the entire exercise, number 23. 1, 2, 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Again, I'll do it a little faster. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. A little faster. That wasn't too good, so let's repeat that. 1, 2. Okay. Now those exercises on page 9 should be practiced, because from now on we're going to split up the triplet with the bass drum. The first exercise I want to play is on page 14, number 45. This includes 2 notes on each drum before I play the bass drum, and it goes both clockwise and counterclockwise direction. Page 14, number 45. Now when I'm playing rhythm, I have an option of keeping the bass drum going, or just keeping the hi-hat going and then without the bass drum. Both of those devices are used when we play. A lot of times it depends on what the bass player wants or what the band leader might want. But practice both. Practice with the bass drum playing along with the cymbal, what I call the established rhythm, the ride cymbal beat, and also play just before you play the solo. So sometimes I'll be playing the bass drum with it, sometimes I'll be leaving the bass drum out. But let's do that number 14 again, or page 14 I mean, number 45. You have when you're playing the rhythm, pardon me, is to practice some of the coordination that you might want to practice. I practice questions on the 4 measures of rhythm before you play a solo. And I'll do that now. I'll just fool around playing some things between the snare drum and the bass drum until I have to play the solo. Again, page 14, number 45. Okay, let's turn the page. Now, I've turned the page on this sheet, which is a sheet that I use when I teach the drum set control. But we're actually still on page 14 in the book. On page 14, doing exercise number 48. This exercise is a very difficult one. And again, I think it's wise probably to take an exercise like this and split it into maybe 3 different exercises. What we have in this exercise is a triplet, but one of the notes of the triplet is played with the bass drum. So we have 3 options. We can play the bass drum on the beat, and then play the triplet. Sticks. We can play the bass drum on the second note of the triplet and play the first and third note with the sticks like this. Or we can play the bass drum on the third note of the triplet, in which case we would play. In this exercise, number 48, the snare drum or the sticks always start with the right hand. So we always have a right, left, either before or after the bass drum. Now, if I take the first measure, that triplet is right and left with the bass drum on the third note. So I can practice that by itself. It would sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. I can also play the hi-hat on all 4 of these chords using my entire leg. And then that exercise would sound like this. And I could try it at different intervals. Okay, the second one has the second idea in this exercise has the bass drum on the second note of the triplet. And that means that I play the right hand on the third note of the triplet, the left hand on the first note of the triplet, and then the bass drum. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Faster. Has the bass drum and the hi-hat. Okay, now practice all of those separately because the exercise itself has all 3 of those ideas in one 4-measure exercise. So I'll play number 48 very slow at first. I'm going back to playing the hi-hat